is Rose. Welcome to my kitchen. Originally, I was going to do a video on canning apple slices and making apple pectin, but now that it's 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, I'm realizing I picked a little too much to do in one day, so we're going to have to break that into more than one video. So today's video is going to be about canning apple slices. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Thank you. Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to do some work with our apples. We have quite a few apples here. These are apples that we grew on our own trees, and we're going to make apples sliced in simple syrup. So to start, we have our apples, and I've gone ahead and removed any spots off of them. While I'm peeling the apples, I'm going to want to be able to keep them from turning yellow or brown. So first we're going to add some water in here and some citric acid, and you can use any clean water for this. But when we do the simple syrup, we're actually going to use some filtered water because our water tastes horrible here. So let's go ahead and get our water in our container. So we have some water here, and I don't really like using plastic, but I haven't found a great way of storing large amounts of apples other than plastic. So if anybody has any great ideas on that for me, I'd appreciate it. We're going to add some citric acid to this. So let's go ahead and put, you kind of want to use about a teaspoon to a gallon, I think, as far as like maintaining color. So let's just do a little more than that in here. Let's do like a tablespoon, almost a tablespoon. And the other thing we want to do is we want to make our simple syrup. So for our simple syrup, I'm going to make a light syrup because I don't like a whole lot of sugar. We're going to use a mixture of 3 cups of water to 1 cup of sugar. And I want to put some lemon in there as well. So let's go ahead and juice our lemon to start. One thing I really like about this is you can make as much or as little as you'd like. And I think your limitations basically are going to be the size of your stove top. So let's go ahead and add juice of our lemon here. And I think I'm going to make a little more simple syrup. So we're going to do 12 cups of water and 4 cups of sugar. Actually, that was 3, 6, 9, and then 12. I could have just filled this to the 4-cup measure and done 4, 8, 12. But originally I was thinking of doing 9 cups of water. All right, so let's go ahead and add our sugar. Let's go ahead and do half cups. So that's 1 cup. Two cups. 3 cups. 4 cups. So that works out to be 1 cup of sugar for every 3 cups of water. And let's go ahead and put this back burner on low. I have a feeling as small as these apples are, we're going to end up with a little less jarred apples, but this is my first time doing this project, and I appreciate you joining me doing it. Our apples could have been bigger, but with the heat, we really had no choice except to go ahead and pick them. So we didn't want to kill our trees. Mother Nature was kind of conspiring against us this year. All right. Now this will actually work pretty well. We're just going to put these little apple chunks from our apple core right in the water. There we go. Well, that's going to have to work. We have 2 apple trees, and one of them just started producing for the first time. The other one has been producing for us for a few years now, and that's part of my motivation for learning to do more things with apples. Is in the future, I'm hoping we'll be able to have more apples. Mix it up a little bit. That apple pie sure is good. If you watched our video that we made last year with our apples, there we go. I'm getting this down. Whoops. Getting this down. And actually, let's get a quart jar out. Let's just go ahead and make ourselves some vinegar at this point as well. We have a nice clean quart jar here. To this, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar. And we're going to go ahead and add apple peels and cores into here till it's full. And then once it's full, we'll top it off with filtered water. Just think of everything that's going to come from these beautiful apples. And if you've looked lately, vinegar's gotten pretty expensive. I like to buy the gallon jugs of the white vinegar for canning, and those jugs have more than doubled in price. And if you want to make your apple vinegar extra good, add some herbs into it. So herbs that I've used a lot of for vinegar making include basil and oregano. And I've used edible flowers like marigolds. I'm kind of thinking I might like to try some rosemary in this one. Let's go ahead and mix this a little bit. I don't know that we can fit too much more peel in here. This is pretty full. We definitely want everything covered for the vinegar process. So I would like to add some rosemary into this. I haven't tried rosemary in apple vinegar before, but I've been wanting to try to make vinegar using rosemary. So today is as good a day as any to try that. So let's just set this aside. Almost got all of our apples peeled. We have all of our apple slices here that have been soaking in water with citric acid. Now we are ready for the next step of this. We're going to put on our hot pad so we don't burn ourselves. We're going to put our pectin pot. Our pectin pot is going to go in the back, and because that's going to have to simmer for a couple of hours on a low boil. And our apple slices are going to move to the forefront here. And this front pot, we're going to want to get this up to a boil. It's a bigger burner. And we're going to go ahead and add our apples in. because we need to bring our apples to a boil and let them simmer for 5 minutes. We are using a hot pack method with simple syrup, a light simple syrup for our apples. And I've had this simple syrup heating in the back, so it should be pretty close. Great, we have all of our apples in our big cook pot, and I'm going to go ahead and put a lid over this. I'm going to get this up to a boil. We need to bring it up to a boil and let them simmer for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. So we have some fresh rosemary from the garden. I gave it a little rinse. Let's go ahead and tuck it in our vinegar jar. Now all we need is to cover this, and we'll stir it every day for the next 2 weeks before we filter it. We do have a boil going here, so we're going to set our timer for 5 minutes. So let's take a look here. You can see our apple slices, how nice those look. Our 5-minute timer is going off. Now it's time to go ahead and ladle these apples into our jars. And I think I'm going to use a slotted spoon to take them out. And then I'll add the liquid to the jars with a soup ladle. Let's see how close we can get this all over here. And let's turn our heat off on this front burner as well. Let's adjust this angle so you can see a little better. There we go. And this is the hot pack technique with simple syrup. Let's go ahead and add some of our simple syrup in here and see what that does with the volume for the apples. Sometimes when you add liquid, it actually, I don't know, makes them pack in better. So let's just see how that works out. We're definitely going to want to wipe the rims of these jars to remove any stickiness so that our lids seal. Let's keep the content of your jars below the canning funnel. The produce that you use, whether it's fruit or vegetables, tends to shrink. So I am not too concerned about having the apples poke up a little higher than I want them to, because I believe that they will end up submerged in here. So we're going to be processing these for 20 minutes in a hot water bath. The next step is we're going to take our vinegar and wipe the rims of our jars. You don't want any stickiness on these surfaces, or your jars will not seal. All right, let's go ahead and get our lids on here. So we had about 9 pounds of apples, and we're actually going to get 12 jars of apple slices and simple syrup. Off. We have this back burner on low. And we're going to turn this one up. I have a feeling we're going to need 2 canning pots for this process. So let's see what happens. I'm going to make sure you have at least 1 inch of water over the top of your jar. Yeah, I think we're gonna need both of our canning pots. So let's turn the heat back on this one since we're gonna be canning in this one as well. All right, let's get the rest of our jars in the hot water. And we're gonna need to bring this up to a boil, both of these pots. And I'm adding a lid. Let me see, I need another lid. Let's see if this one will fit. Oh, it just fits, very good. All right, so I'm adding lids to these pots. We're gonna bring these up to a boil and then we'll be back. Okay, so one of our pots is boiling. Let's go ahead and set timer number 1 for 20 minutes. Okay, timer number 2 has been turned on. It is seriously hot in here, but it smells like apples. All right, timer number 1 is going off. Let's turn this heat off, get our hot pads, and get these sliced apples out of this pot. Be very careful, this is really hot water. Look at that, these are beautiful. We have 15 minutes left to go for timer number 2. Okay, timer number 2 is going off. Let's turn this heat off over here and get some gloves because this is probably hot. And get our other jars out. Our first jars that we took out have already sealed, so that's always a great thing. And let's get the remaining jars out. There we go. And let's go ahead and put that lid back on here, keep some of that steam in. We don't need any more humidity than what we already have. We finished canning our apple slices. I hope you enjoyed canning apple slices with me today. Thanks for watching.